Welcome to AutoSens, the world's leading community for ADAS and autonomous vehicle technology development. We create best-in-class events, training, and information for the purpose of connecting the global community of engineers, scientists, and other automotive industry experts. One such expert joining us today is Tom Dahlstrom, an account executive at Kognic. And Tom, welcome to AutoSens. Thanks for being with us.
Thanks for having me, Carl.
Tom, I want to start right away with the homepage of the website. And there's two sentences on the homepage that really resonated with me. So I quote those. At Kognic, we are leading the way to the future of automated vehicles, a future where data quality, safety, and performance will shape the direction of mobility. Again, Tom, that resonated with me. Tell us, though, what does that mean? Expand on that a little bit more.
All right. Well, first of all, I'm happy that someone is actually visiting the website. That's always a good sign. And to expand on what you said, the two things that are in there, which everyone is after at this time, is performance and safety, right? Whether you're developing a next generation level 2 assist or a fully automated vehicle that's supposed to drive itself entirely, those are kind of the two things that you need to get, right? You need to have a performance that convinces people to buy it and to stick with it. And of course, because humans are made of flesh and we bruise easily, you have to make it safe. The whole move fast and break stuff paradigm doesn't really cut it when the stuff is people. So those two are kind of the boxes that you need to tick in order to get somewhere. And if you are looking at the domains and the driving tasks that automotive, be it people transport or logistics or any other application, normally target, they are domains of high complexity. If you think of the global nature that is inherent to automotive, people buy one car and they expect to drive it more or less around the entire continent. And if the car is supposed to take over more and more of the driving tasks autonomously, then you are very quickly leaving the space where you can operate with rule-based systems, because the complexity just doesn't enable you to do that. So enter the age of what you might call data-defined systems that are to some degree built on ML or machine learning, where you try to explain the world to a machine through data. And so that is the third part that was in the quote that you just read, which we believe kind of is everyone says what we're doing is the key, but is one of the puzzle pieces in getting this right, we think.
Sure. Tom, let's stay with the website again for a second. Under the software section, there's two things that show up: perception analytics and ground truth platform. Right. Tom, can you expand on these a little bit? Tell us more about each one.
Yeah, sure. So our company is 5 years old now. And when we started in 2018, the first tooling that we built was tools to create what is commonly referred to as ground truth. So annotated or labeled data sets to be used for supervised learning in ML applications. And since we target exclusively the perception domain, this would be what you have seen in countless images like 2D bounding boxes, 3D bounding cuboids, semantical segmentation of images, point clouds, and so on. So we built this as a niche offering targeted only towards ADAS and AD use cases, believing that if we can go deep down enough in this vertical, it will be a valuable offering. And for a while, for a couple of years, this was very sufficient for everyone, because model performance across the industry, in perception specifically, was still relatively low. So as long as you kept throwing bounding boxes at your model, the performance would improve. It's like your first weeks in the gym, right? Whatever you do is going to have an impact, even if you don't understand how these machines all work. But then eventually you reach a point of diminishing returns. So what we did then, let's say the first years we spent building this ground truth factory. What we're doing now is we are adding these analytics tools around the factory to allow people to make more budget-effective decisions about which data to actually send to the factory, what to do with it, and to monitor the impact that the outcome has on their model performance. Because if you talk about data, you have to keep in mind that data isn't the thing. It's just the thing that gets you to the thing. And that thing is your model performance. You want to put a system on the road that is performant and that is safe. And you do that through data, but you shouldn't optimize for data. You should use data to optimize for performance and safety.
Tom, I think we're touching on this a little bit here, but allow me to ask the question a little more directly, a little more succinctly. The development of machine learning-based ADAS and autonomous driving, how is that different now from what OEMs and suppliers have been doing for years past?
Well, if you look at machine learning applications, and I'm going to oversimplify now to a bit of a criminal degree, but let's say their performance is defined by two main factors. One is the code, right? The algorithms and the stuff that programmers put in there. And the other part is the data. And if you look for machine learning resources online, you will quickly realize that everything is open source, more or less. You and me, we can download more or less the same algorithms that Google and NASA are using. Or if you look at everyone's currently favorite AI example, ChatGPT, the algorithms for that are open source. You can download them from the internet. Having that doesn't turn you into a company that has a $29 billion valuation, right? So it's the data then. Yes, but no. The data set that is used to train ChatGPT is also open source because it is the internet. But if you download those algorithms that are free and just train them or the whole thing on all of the internet, let's say you could afford the compute and do that, the result still wouldn't be ChatGPT. It would be, if you allow me some colorful language, a porn-addicted Nazi, if you look at what the internet is, right? So what it comes down to isn't just data, but for lack of a snappier term, let's say the curation of data subspaces. The understanding of which data is permissible for your model, what creates an effect that you consider to be positive, and what creates one that you consider to be negative. So I usually think of this as programming with data. Because, I mean, that's what all programming is humans explaining to machines what they're supposed to do, right? Part of that you do through the code, part of that you do through data. And just as with code, more doesn't equal better. You can add 500 lines of code to an application. It doesn't mean it's necessarily going to become any better. And it's the same thing with data, right? You need to make smart choices and you need to measure the outcome. What is high quality data? Salespeople and purchasers can argue over quality KPIs for days and weeks at a time. But the ultimate arbiter of truth in that question is the impact that you have on your model. And that again brings us back to the requirement of a highly iterative approach in that sense. And that's kind of what our tools are also built to enable. So you can think of the Kognic data engine, if you want to call it that, as a sort of as programming tools for programming with data.
Tom, fantastic. Always great to chat with you. And I've enjoyed already connecting with you on LinkedIn. So from all of us here at AutoSens, we want to thank you for sharing your time and your expertise and thought leadership. We look forward to seeing you at AutoSens Detroit 2023. Thank you again, Tom.
Thank you so much for having me, and see you in Detroit.
For more in-depth interviews like this, subscribe to the AutoSens YouTube channel and follow AutoSens on LinkedIn. For more information about our world-class events, visit auto-sense.com. That's auto-sense.com. In Detroit, on behalf of AutoSens, I'm Carl Anthony.